On this beautiful morning, I invite you to take a good sitting position. Sit tall. Bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes. Turn your attention inwards and bring your awareness to your breath. Observing the rise and fall of your chest. The cool air flowing in, the warm air flowing out. Open your eyes, release your hands. This morning, to open as my word of the day, I'm going to read a poem. So it's called A Morning Offering. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, waves of desire I am sure to, and all beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers, to break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. So that comes from, of course, the ineffable John O'Donoghue. So taking that into our practice this morning, we can take any part of it that speaks to you. It can be loyalty or courage or beauty or any one of these things, and take it into your practice, and then take it off your practice and out into your life. So loyalty to your, perhaps it's loyalty, so it could be loyalty to your practice. It's turning up for yourself, for your practice on the mat. Yeah, you don't have to account to anyone else except yourself. And from that, from the practice, the rest of your life will be informed. But the thing is, we have to practice. So let's make our way into cat-cow. So if you're new to this practice, it's a slightly stronger practice this morning, and just move through the practice, listening to your body. And if it's not for you, just sit out a pose and wait for the next one to come along. So exhale, round your body up, and inhale, lift your head, look up, sink down between your shoulder blades, body following breath. Exhaling, rounding up, inhaling, sinking down. Coming back to a place of neutrality, of stillness. Inhale, lift your right leg out behind you, flex and pointed, gaze straight ahead. Grip the floor with your fingertips, engage your biceps. Stretch your toes away from your forehead. Release that leg to the floor and switch to the other side. Lift your left leg up behind you. Heel in line with hip, hip in line with shoulder. Engage your quad. Point your back knee at the floor. and release. And moving into down dog, walk your knees back, one hand's pace, turn your toes under, lift your hips up. Nice long down dog, so that if I asked you to float into plank, you'd float into plank easily without moving your feet. Squeeze your heels together, and heels can be inner hip width apart, more doable, more difficult. They're touching one another. Lift your hips up, externally rotate your upper arms, that's the biceps, turning them towards the short end of the mat. Melt your heart. Come back onto the floor and make your way to lying on your back, coming into reclined lunge prep. Stretch your left leg out, curl your right knee in and hug it in. Press through the heel of the left leg, press the back of the left thigh into the floor, press your head into the floor. And switch legs. Curl your left knee in and hug it in. And then bring both knees into your chest and give yourself a delicious hug. If you wish, you can move around from side to side, gently massaging your spine. All the time focusing on being present, alive to the sensations in your body. Opening our senses. Then stretch both legs out on the floor in front of you, and once more curl your right knee into your chest, and this time moving into half happy baby. Clasp your right foot with both hands and bring your shin to vertical so that the sole of your right foot is parallel to the ceiling. If this is too much for you, with your hands on your foot, use a strap or a belt. Then drawing down on the right foot so that your shin is vertical, as if to bring your knee towards the side of your body and towards the floor. And listening to yourself, what's appropriate for you. Release that foot to the floor and stretch the other. Curl your left knee in. Clasp your left foot with both hands, or again with a strap by just looping it over the sole of your foot. Drawing down on the sole of your foot. Your shin should be vertical. The sole of your foot parallel to the ceiling. Press through your right leg. Press the back of your right thigh into the floor. Notice the sensations on this side of your body. And breathing into the left hand side of your body. bring both knees into your chest and come into full happy baby. Clasp the outside edges of your feet with your hands. Separate your knees wider than your body. Your feet, line them up with your knees. So feet and knees wider than shoulders. And then drawing down on the soles of your feet, press up with the soles of your feet into your hands. So push-pull action going on. Press your lower back into the floor. Look up towards the ceiling in case you have your chin buried in your chest. As we are opening our senses, take your attention to your hearing. Without actively looking to hear anything, follow the sounds into your ears. And come make your way to sitting and onto your hands and knees. From here, moving into down dog, but it's down dog lunge. So lift your hips high, step your right foot forward, and then place your hands on the inside of your right foot, shoulder width apart, and then walk them forward. Drop your head, look back towards your back foot. Lift your back heel up to vertical. Press down with your front foot into the floor. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Lift the back of your back knee up. Look back at your back foot. And switch feet, front foot back foot forward. Place your hands on the inside of your left foot, then walk them forward 6 or 8 inches, hands wider than shoulders. Drop your head. And then walk your hands to your feet. We're coming into forward fold. So keeping our knees bent, line up your place your hands on the outside of your feet. Line up your fingernails with your toenails. If this is not available for you, just bring your hands to the outside of your shins, or if you have blocks, just place your hands on the blocks. Keep a slight bend in your knees as you do this. Keeping all that, just move your hips slightly forward and press your knees back. Inhale, press down, stand up, and coming into mountain. Feet together. Press down equally with the 4 corners of both feet into the floor. Squeeze your shins in. Engage your quads. Press tailbone down. Engage your lower abdomen. And stretch from the hips to under your armpits. Broaden across your collarbones. Stand tall. Stretch your arms down, stretch fingers down. moving into power pose. Inhale your arms up, hands shoulder width apart. Bend your knees, sink down, keep your back straight. Engage your core, press your tailbone down, and then move back almost to the point of overbalancing. Inhale, press down, and come and sit down. And we're moving into cosmic abs. So bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. Shift your weight onto your right foot, arms out to the left. Start to bicycle your knees, your feet up and down, and your arms up and down, in and out. And really stretch one leg, bend it, stretch it, bend it, stretch it, bend it. And then move your shoulders like a belly dancer. Right shoulder forward, left shoulder forward. Do 5 on one side and then switch to the other. Switch. 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 And release your legs to the floor. Coming into staff pose, stretch your legs out. Place your hands, the heel of your hands by your hips. Squeeze your inner ankles, your inner shins, your inner thighs towards each other. Stretch the sides of your body long, sit tall. Move your ears back. Press the heel of your hands in towards the floor. Engage your quads. And release, and moving into reverse table. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. Walk your hands back 6 or 8 inches. Inhale, lift your hips off the floor. Press your feet down into the floor. Stretch your knees away from your shoulders. Lift your head, look up. Now if it's too much for you, you can just sit down again and come back up into it. So go up and down. Tighten your glutes. The glutes are the big muscles in your buttocks, and visualize like as if you're trying to lightly hold a pencil. And release to the floor. And coming into leg lifts. Again, if you've lower back problems going on, do this one leg at a time or with your knees bent. Or don't do as many, maybe just do 1 or 2. So place your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Bring your elbows into the side of your face. Lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Bend your knees, bring your knees into your chest. Inhale, stretch your legs up. Exhale, inhale, lower your legs to the floor. Exhale, bring them back up. And see if you can do 2 sets of 5. Moving with your breath. And make your way to standing. Moving into crescent pose. Lift your arms overhead, bring your palms together. Move your hips to the right, your torso to the left, be as sideways as possible. Press down equally with both feet into the floor. Squeeze shins, inner thighs together. Square your hips, your shoulders to the long side of the mat, if that's the way you're standing on it. Move your ears back, elbows over shoulders. Tighten your glutes. Inhale back up and switch to the other side. Be careful not to collapse into the side you're leaning towards. Press down equally with both feet into the floor. Inhale back up to centre. And moving into high lunge, walk to the back of your mat. Place your hands on your hips and step forward with your right foot. Bend your front knee, front shin vertical, thigh parallel, torso upright. Squeeze your elbows back behind you, lift your chest, stretch your spine. Stretch front knee away from back heel. And switch to the back of the mat. Right foot in, left foot out. Bend your front knee. Lift your back heel up to vertical. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel, torso upright. And step your feet together. Moving into plank pose, come onto your hands and knees and walk your hands forward. Walk your knees back, turn your toes under and lift your hips up so float your shoulders over your wrists. Squeeze your heels together, engage your core. Tighten your glutes. Lower gently to the floor, moving into topsy-turvy. Superhero. Lift your right arm off the floor and the opposite leg. Press the foot that's on the floor into the floor and lift the knee. And the hand that's on the floor, hands are on their sides, palms pointing towards each other. Lift your elbow off the floor, gaze straight ahead. And switch sides. Lift the left arm on the opposite leg. Release that and make your way to standing. Coming into mountain again. Tuning into your breath. witnessing where the in-breath becomes the out-breath and the out-breath becomes the in-breath. Moving into tree pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Lift your right foot and place against your ankle, your shin, or your upper inner thigh, yogi's choice. Try not to place it on the side of your knee. Bring your hands to your heart. Stay here, more doable. More difficult, inhale your arms up. Press your palms together. Lift your gaze. Root down with the standing foot into the floor, move the knee out to the side. Square your hips, your shoulders to the front, elbows over shoulders. Lift the sides of your mouth. Inhale, exhale and release, and switch to the other side. Shift your weight onto your right foot, lift your left foot and place it where it's appropriate for you. Inhale, exhale and release. And moving into warrior two. Step your feet wide apart on the mat. Turn your right foot out. Line up your front heel so it bisects the arch of your back foot. Square your hips, your shoulders to the front of the mat. Inhale your arms up. Hands in line with shoulders. Just check look out over your right hand arm and look out over your left hand arm and see are they in line with each other. Bend your right knee, sink down. Move your right knee out in line with the root of your second toe. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. Roll your left hip back, your left ribs back. Stretch the tips of your fingers away from each other. Lift your chin slightly. And switch to the other end. Turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Bend your left knee, sink down. Front shin vertical, thigh parallel. Look out over your left hand arm. Just checking your front knees in line with the root of your second toe. Press down, stand up, lower your arms, turn your left foot in, turn your right foot out. We'll move into Trikonasana, and often at this stage it's nice to use a block. If you use a block, place it at the little toe side of your front foot. Actually, I'll just place a block there so as a demo. Inhale your arms up, look out over your right hand arm, and then leaning forward, place your hand on the block. Lift your top arm up to vertical. Elbow over shoulder. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. Roll your left ribs back, your left shoulder back. Lift your right ear off your right shoulder slightly. Engage your quads. Inhale, press down, stand up and switch. Right foot in, left foot out. Place your block. Inhale your arms up. Look out over your left hand arm, reach forward, place your hand on the block, lift your top arm up to vertical. It's okay to have a little bend in your front knee. Or if you can't get down that side at all, bring your hand to the outside of your left knee and just go a little bit. Press down, stand up. I'm moving into reverse mudra. Again using blocks if you wish. Standing 2/3 of the way back. Inhale your arms up. Step forward with your right foot. Turn your back foot out sort of 45 degrees towards the long edge of the mat. Exhale and hinge forward and place your hands on the block. Ideally line up your fingernails with your toenails, but wherever it feels good for you today. Draw your right hip back, your left hip forward, hinging forward, engage your quads. Inhale, press down, stand up and switch feet. Front foot back, back foot forward. Square your hips, your shoulders to the front of the mat. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, place your hands. Line up your fingernails with your toenails. Draw your left hip back, your right hip forward. Squeeze your back hip, front inner thigh towards each other. Step your feet together, put your blocks off to one side, keep one. We're moving into half moon, walking towards the back of your mat. Inhale your right arm up, step forward with your right foot, bend your right knee, place your hand on the block, lift your back leg out behind you, roll the outside edge of your back foot up towards the ceiling. Keeping that, lift your top arm up or place it on your hip. Press the heel of your hand into the floor and then gradually walk your eyes along the floor and look away from you. Inhale, press down, stand up and switch to the other side. Walking towards the back of your mat. Lift your left arm up, step forward with your left leg, bend your left knee, place your hand on the block, lift your right leg out behind you, turn the outside edge of your right foot up towards the ceiling, lift your top arm up to vertical. Inhale, exhale and release. Coming into power pose, hands bound, feet together, more difficult, feet inner hip width apart, more doable. Clasp your hands behind your back, bend your elbows and place your thumbs on the small of your back. Bend your knees, lower your hips, round your back, bring your forehead to your knees. Lift your arms off your back, stretch your knuckles away from you, and then sit back in your throne. press down, stand up. Coming into power pose again, lift your arms overhead, hands shoulder width apart, point palms in, bend your knees, lower your hips, back straight, engage your core, press your tailbone down, gaze straight ahead, elbows over shoulders. Inhale, press down, stand up, and moving into eagle pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot, lift your right leg and wrap it around the front of the left leg. If this is not available to you, bring outside chin to outside chin and keep your toes on the floor. It's perfectly good. Going where it is available for you today, lift your left arm and wrap the right underneath, hug the midline. Forearms vertical, square towards the front of the mat, sink down. Press down, stand up and switch to the other side. Shift your weight onto your right foot and lift your left leg and wrap it around. Then lift the right arm and wrap the left underneath. Notice the difference on both sides. Bend the knees, sink down. Inhale, press down, stand up. And moving into warrior three, you might like to grab your blocks again if you have them. Putting them at any height that's appropriate for you. Lift your arms up overhead. Step forward with your right foot. Bend your right knee. Lean forward. Place your hands on the blocks. Lift your back leg out behind you. Flex and point it. So have the blocks far away enough from you so that you're stretching between your hips and your armpits. Point your back knee at the floor. Engage your quads. Look out in front. And release, foot to the floor. Inhale, lift your arms overhead. Step forward with your left foot. Again, giving yourself space from the blocks. Lean forward, place your hands on the blocks, lift your back leg out behind you, flex and point it. And release that leg to the floor. I'll just check the time here. Make your way to standing, coming to standing camel. Heels together or feet inner hip width apart. Place your hands on your hips. Squeeze your elbows back. And then move your hips forward. Squeeze your inner shins, your inner thighs, tighten your glutes. And take the bend in the upper back as far back as you dare to go. If you keep that keep your glutes engaged, you'll get more. Inhale and come all the way up. Make your way to down dog, come onto your hands and knees and lift your hips high. Hands wider than shoulders, grip the floor with your fingertips, parallel your index fingers, fingers spread wide. Lift your hips high, invite your heels to come towards the floor. Melt your heart. lower onto the floor with your knees and step your right foot forward, coming into forearm lunge. Again, you might need your blocks in this to place your elbows on the floor or place your elbows on blocks. Whatever the highest elbow is at, that's the level you should take. Both elbows need to be at the same height. Clasp your hands together. More doable, keep your back knee on the floor. More difficult, turn your toes under, lift your back knee off the floor. Stretch your front knee away from your back ankle. Lift the back of the back knee up if you're lifting it off the floor. Release that knee to the floor and switch sides. Front foot back foot forward. Lower down onto your elbows. Clasp your hands, interlace your fingers. Lift your back knee off the floor. Gaze out in front. And release. And then switch sides. Right foot forward. Take your weight onto your left hand. Turn your back toe under, lift your knee off the floor and lift your right arm up. Look towards the ceiling. Lower that hand and switch feet. Front foot back foot forward. Weight on right hand, move right hand out to the side, lift top left arm up, look up. Lower your hands and come and make your way into pigeon pose. Come onto your hands and knees. Move your right knee forward towards the outside of your right hand, towards the right hand side of your mat. And then invite that right foot to come forward a little bit. What we're endeavouring to do is make our front shin parallel to the front of the mat. Walk the back knee back behind you. And then lower down onto your elbows. And if you can't get your elbows onto the floor, place your elbows on blocks. Press the top of your back foot into the floor. Lift your back knee off the floor. Press the outside edge of your front foot into the floor. Lift your right ankle off the floor. Lower to the floor and switch feet. You can switch through down dog if you wish, or not. Left knee forward. Invite that front foot to come forward. Walk the back knee back. Lower down onto your elbows. And release, and then switch again. Right knee forward, and then bend your back knee and bring your heel to your hip. So you're reaching back with your left hand, clasp your left ankle, and place your right hand on the floor and sit tall. Sometimes I put my hand on a block, Lift your chest, stretch your spine square towards the short end of your mat. If this is not available for you, you can also use a belt or a tie around your ankle. And switch to the other side. Reach back with your right hand, clasp your right ankle, sit tall. Moving into twisted sage. Sit on your right hip with your knees bent out to the left. And endeavour to cross the sole of your right foot with the top of your left foot. It's not always available to folks and can cause you to feel very unbalanced, so you can put something in underneath you to prop yourself up. Place your right hand on top of your left knee. Place your left hand behind you. Roll your left shoulder back, your left ribs back. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back to centre and switch to the other side. Knees out to the left. Place your left hand on top of your right knee. Place your right hand behind you. Look over your left shoulder. Back to centre, and moving into cow face pose. Stretch your left leg out and cross your right knee over your left leg. Inhale your arms up and exhale and hinge forward. Soften your elbows. On every inhalation, stretching forward. On every exhalation, sinking down. Keeping your quad engaged on the outstretched leg. Noticing your heartbeat. Inhale, come back up. And switch to the other side. Lift your left leg, cross it over your right knee. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Gaze beyond your toes. Noticing the loyalty of your breath. Reminding us of the preciousness of our lives. And head back to centre and moving into east stretch. Or star, or reverse table if you wish, whichever you feel like doing. So bend your knees, lift your hips off the floor, and then stretch your legs out. Bring your toes to the floor. Lift your hips up as high as you can. Broaden across your collarbones. And gently release. And come and lie on your back. And come in to thread the needle. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. Lift your right foot, place the outside edge of your right foot on top of your left knee. And then curl your left knee into your chest, thread your hands between your legs. Press your lower back into the floor. Press your head into the floor. Feel the life pulsing through you. And switch to the other side. Lift your left foot, place it on top of your right knee, and bring your right knee into your chest. Lower your feet to the floor, moving into double diamond. Keeping your knees bent, walk your feet out to the long edges of the mat. One to the right, one to the left. Allow your knees to come down. Make goalpost of your arms and place the backs of your hands, arms on the floor. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, lift your head off the floor, look away from your knees, place your head back on the floor. Inhale back to center and go in the opposite direction. Coming back to center, bring both knees into your chest and give yourself the most delicious, comforting, warming hug. Grateful to yourself that you've taken this time for yourself to reconnect with your breath, with your body, and everything else, with each other, and all that's greater than us. Time for relaxation. So prepare for relaxation. You might like to put something on you, a cardigan or a blanket. Stretch arms out, stretch legs out. I place on the altar of dawn the quiet loyalty of breath, the tent of thought where I shelter, waves of desire I am sure to, and all beauty drawn to the eye. May my mind come alive today to the invisible geography that invites me to new frontiers. To break the dead shell of yesterdays, to risk being disturbed and changed. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more. to deepen your breathing, start to move your hands, your feet. Perhaps give yourself a stretch. And bend your knees in your own time. Make your way to sitting, or you can stay there. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes, turn in one last time. Turn to your breath. To honour ourselves, each other, the practice, we close with one Om. Exhale, inhale. Thanks for practicing, thanks for coming to practice, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share or subscribe to me on YouTube. See you on the mat.